Hello, everyone. I hope that you guys have had a fantastic weekend, and that the weather didn't get you down or anything like that. But, anyways, also, I wanted to apologize to anybody who has sent me emails that I have not yet responded to. I really do apologize, and I really do try very hard to get to those as soon as I can. But the beginning of the semester is especially trying with people trying to get into class and people on wait lists and stuff like that. So bear with me on that one. I get probably about 200 emails a day, so it gets pretty arduous. Which means it gets difficult for me to get to lectures and things like that. But anyways, um, I will get to that. Some people have already posted your your progymnosmata to the discussion board, and I wanted to remind you that in the discussion board I have already put a thread into the discussion board that says progymnosmata. All you do is you go to that link and you reply to it, and then that should send you that should allow you to post to it. Okay, and then you are to respond as per the instructions in that link. So go to the Blackboard, go to the discussion board, click on that, on the link that says Progymnosmata Fable, and the instructions are in there. Okay, and that as per the syllabus, and as far as due dates are concerned, due dates are always on the date that the syllabus states. That goes for readings. Like last week on Thursday, you were to have, or the second day of the week, whichever one you wanted to drop in on Wednesday or Thursday, you were to have chapters 8, 9, and 10 read. That was to be done prior to that day. So on the date of the syllabus. So follow the syllabus as far as due dates are concerned. That should alleviate any confusion that there is between you and or I. Okay. So you guys had to read chapters 8, 9, and 10. And I'm not going to talk too much. In fact, I'm not even going to talk at all about chapters 9 and 10. That's because those will show up, that you've done the reading will show up in your writing. That's more writing effective sentences, creating effective paragraphs, margins, headings, all of that stuff. Stuff that I don't feel like I need to dictate on lectures. I will do some, but not an awful lot throughout the semester about that stuff. It will be very clear to me whether or not you've done the reading based upon the writing that you're doing. And you'll see more of that later. But what I did want to talk to you guys about is the act of persuading. In your feasibility reports and your business plans, you are going to be trying to persuade a group or a person about a particular argument, about whether or not a company should be created in Anchorage or wherever you want to make it, or that there is a problem in which something needs to be done. And so you're going to have to be very persuasive in your arguments about that. So I want to talk about a little bit today, about 15 minutes, about what is it that makes an argument persuasive. It's very important to me that that the students that leave my classes know how to craft an effective argument, are able to make claims without just saying opinions. You can say, well, I think this because I saw this happen once in my life. Or, the environment is not a problem because blah, blah, blah. I want you guys to be able to, when you do make a claim, when you do get faced with somebody trying to argue about something, rather than just responding with your opinion and with a very weak and pithy response, I want you guys to be able to respond clearly, using logic, using reason, being able to use the most effective form of logic in order to state your claim. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about different forms of what's called logical proofs, about different ways that people argue about certain things, different ways of reasoning. Okay? So rather than it just being a yes or no argument, yes and no is not really an argument. Right or wrong is not really an argument. The trick is to not worry so much about who wins an argument. You shouldn't worry too much about that, because in a lot of arguments there really is no winner. What you should focus on is what is created, about the knowledge that is created within that argument. If you're talking about, let's go back to the environment. You could say global warming is a problem, and then the other person says global warming is not a problem. So rather than trying to convince the other person that global warming is a problem, or vice versa, you're trying to create a dialogue in which both sides can educate the other side. Okay? So within that argument becomes knowledge. And the goal of argument is to create knowledge. It's not to win. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is what's called an enthymeme. It's a 3-part deductive argument. Basically, enthymeme, by the way, is a term created by Aristotle. He was very big on enthymemes. It is the major premise: students do not have a lot of money. Okay, that's something that you can say. Say students do not have a lot of money. You can say something simple like, hot water can burn people. That's a simple claim. That is something based upon an observation that you have. It's a simple statement. Then you have the minor premise. So based upon the major premise that students do not have a lot of money, you can also, from there, go to the next logic, which is the minor premise, that is, students pay a lot for parking. So if students do not have a lot of money, and students pay a lot of money for parking, what is a logical line that you can draw? If students don't have a lot of money, but they're also paying a lot of money for parking, what is something that you can infer from that? Which is called the conclusion, which is the therefore statement. Parking is too expensive for students. I know this is an online class, but I'm sure a lot of you guys have been on campus. I even have to pay for parking. It's a lot of money. And so based upon that students do not have a lot of money, and students pay a lot for parking, therefore, we can say that parking is too expensive for students. I would think that most people here would agree with that. If you don't, get out. It's a lot of money. Okay, so the next type of argument, an argument that goes from the particular, and I'm not asking you to remember this exactly, but arguments that go from the particular to the universal is called inductive reasoning. You guys know about deductive reasoning, but what about inductive reasoning? To go from the particular instance to the universal thought. This is going to take a while for you to understand. Okay, and I have a worksheet that I want you guys to do that's going to get you to understand this a little bit better. My lecture is probably a little weak right now because I'm trying to rush it within 15 minutes, but the worksheet is going to get you to understand what exactly this is. Okay, inductive reasoning. A particular premise. If the educated high school teacher is the best teacher, and then go to particular premise B. If the educated professor is the best kind of professor, and then particularly premise A, if the skilled driver is the best driver, and that if the skilled charioteer, the guy riding the horse, Troy, all that stuff, if the skilled charioteer is the best charioteer, And if the strongest fighter is the best fighter, and if the strongest carpenter is the best carpenter, we can infer, we can induct, that if the educated high school teacher and the educated professor is the best kind, we can infer that the educated teacher is the best at their profession. Including myself, oddly enough. If the skilled driver is the best driver, and if the skilled charioteer is the best charioteer, then the skilled person is the best at any profession. So the induction there is on the notion of skill, as well as education, the other one. So the next one, I'll leave that one to you. The strongest fighter is the best fighter. The strongest carpenter is the best fighter. What could he say there? The strongest what? The strength is preferable in physical matters. So if fighting and carpentry requires strength, trust me, I used to be a welder. And I'm not a very strong guy. You don't know what I look like. Some of you guys might, but I'm not a very strong guy. But I can tell you, I wasn't very good at it because I'm not very strong. That's why I teach. So strength is preferable in any physical matters. So if you see that one thing is preferable in something, then you can say that it is preferable in all matters, if that makes sense. If hand-eye coordination is important in football and baseball, then hand-eye coordination is important in sports. Do you see what I'm saying? All right. This one's going to be, and I have a couple minutes before I have to end, because YouTube only allows me to load 15 minutes for some unforeseen reason. You identify a truth of a particular statement that you wish to posit. Then identify something that could be used as the basis for that. So anytime you see an example of something, that can back up your argument. So I know this is true because this happened before. Use a past example to convey the truth of your argument. If you're trying to convince someone not to smoke, you might want to point to an example of someone who suffered the negative consequences of smoking. And if you smoke, please try to quit. It's a disgusting habit. So you see those commercials on TV where they're trying to tell you to quit smoking, and they have the person with it cringes me to even think about this, but the person with the hole in the throat and things like that. Obviously smoking is bad because look at the representative particular that I am giving you. It's caused a hole in this person's throat. Terrorism is bad because it killed this many people. Chewing is bad because it makes people's faces fall off. That type of thing. Pitbull. It also causes you, unfortunately, to stereotype, because some people might say, "Oh my gosh, all pit bulls are bad because this one pit bull attacked a person," and I'm looking at my very gentle pit bull right now who's staring at me. So you have to be very careful with these. Okay? I have a worksheet for you that you will have due in 1 week. And this will teach you the particulars of these particular lines of reasoning. Okay? I know that this hasn't been the best of lectures, but I promise you the worksheet itself will teach you what these things are all about. Okay? And this is some logic that's been taught ever since the ancient times. Okay, so I really want you guys to learn this, so that's why I'm doing it. I'm really, I cannot stress it enough, I'm really happy with the work that you guys have been doing. I'm extremely happy with the work that you guys have been doing. So keep it up. Now that I'm done with the administrative stuff, I can start communicating more as far as getting more involved with responding to your guys' posts and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about that. I have been reading them, and I'm really excited about it. So very good on you for that. Okay? All right. Enjoy, and thank you very much.